So today is an introductory section on the Green Destination Top 100 Story competition. And the today meeting will be divided in these 4 parts. So there will be a first part on what is Green Destination and the Top 100 competition, hosted by Hugo de Jong, the co-founder of Green Destination, and then followed by myself, which I will give you a small overview of what the destination can expect from the Top 100 competition and the support that Green Destinations provide. Then Nicole Uselbos, Top 100 Secretariat Coordinator, will explain you in more detail step 1, which is a sustainability check. And then I will explain you what is a good practice story, which is what we call step 2. So now, Hugo, if you'd like to take the floor and explain Green Destination and the Top 100 competition, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Valentina. Let me try to share my screen. Can you see this now?
Yes.
Great. So welcome everyone to this first 2023 Top 100 introduction call. It's actually the second call because we did an earlier version of this this morning in our European morning. And so this is the second version of the same call. Let me start by welcoming everyone to joining this call, and well, nice to have everyone on board and see interest in joining the 2023 competition again or as a new participant. So let me start by explaining a little bit more about Green Destinations for those who are new to our organization. Here we go. We are a nonprofit foundation established in 2014 out of the Quality Coast Awards program. Quality Coast Awards was a program by the Coastal and Marine Union, EUCC, an environmental NGO based in the Netherlands, who had as objective, still existing as of today, had as objective to protect the coastal marine areas in Europe. And they developed a framework for that, coastal zone management framework, and to assess how coastal zone management is done sustainably. And that became actually the Quality Coast Award program, because it was obvious that a good way to benefit from clean and sustainable coastlines is by tourism and by quality tourism. The founder of Green Destinations was also the founder of the Coastal Marine Union, and therefore he found out that after a while the whole movement of certification moved also to destination certification of sustainable tourism, and it was obvious that actually the Quality Coast Awards framework could also be replicated to non-coastal destinations, and that became the Green Destinations framework and the Green Destinations as organization, actually. We're based in the Netherlands, but we're a global partnership. We have representatives and partners who implement our programs and services, and we are GSTC recognized and accredited, means that the certification program is accredited for adhering to the global standards for certification, and the standard is recognized for covering all the agreed themes and criteria for sustainability in tourism. So currently we have a community of around 116 awarded and certified destinations and counting. We have a few more who we expect also to give out first award and certification before ITV, the fair in Berlin in the beginning of March. In total, we have more than 500 destinations engaged with our programs, including the top 100. And we do that with a community of more than 50 partners and representatives, covering in total more than 90 countries. So Green Destinations Program and Services is not only certification, it's also training and support with a training program for destination managers, online training, offsite training, support tools to help destination managers become more sustainable and really implement actions to improve, and coaching by one-on-one coaching by experts, by our team, by representatives. Then the recognition part is what is our awards and certification program, the top 100 competition, and also the Good Travel Seal. It's a certification for sustainability in tourism businesses. And promotion is then the third element of our programs and services. It contains conferences. Every year we have our annual conference in a different country in Europe. Not necessarily Europe, but it happened to be every year in Europe, but maybe sometime sooner or later we're gonna go outside Europe as well. And the Good Travel Guide, it's an online repository of sustainable destinations and businesses. And it's our consumer oriented website. Pulling that together, we also have an integrated program of global leaders, which combines the different programs and services and can offer it to a region or a country. And some regions and countries that have adopted this program are in Slovenia, for example. Slovenia Green Program made some use of a white label option, so countries or regions can put their own label, their own branding on top of a sustainability program for tourism, covering like a comprehensive area of the tourism industry. But today, of course, we're going to talk about the top 100 competition. So giving you a brief history of the top 100 competition, it started in 2014 as an effort to gather a collection of global sustainable destinations. So it started off as really a destination competition, but then it evolved from destination recognition to really story recognition, where the story submitters, so the destinations, should have a basic sustainability level, which is checked to ensure that the story is submitted by a destination with basic sustainability compliance. And the reason why that evolution took place is that we recognized that it was more interesting for the general public and for destinations, of course, to hear about very specific examples of sustainable tourism rather than an overall assessment of different sustainability checkboxes. So we really wanted to make it more tangible, more interesting, and more valuable, actually, to gather and disseminate these stories of sustainable tourism projects, achievements, innovations, of course. And so that has become the objective. To exchange experience and good practice in sustainable destination management and acknowledge efforts for front runners in sustainable tourism. I'm trying to find a way to get rid of this bar from Zoom. So this might be why, and now every now and then you need to let me pause because it's blocking my view. Never mind. There we go. So the competition structure now is a two-step structure. Valentina and Nicole are going to explain some more about it in a minute. Step one is a sustainability check, the evaluation of basic destination sustainability levels with core criteria. And step 2 is then the actual good practice story. But let me explain some more about the sustainability check and how that is embedded. So, because it contains core criteria of the Green Destination Standard. And the Green Destination Standard is a collection of 75 criteria over 6 themes, which is recognized by the Global Sustainable Tourism Council since 2016. And we use that standard for the certification. That's the full standard with 75 criteria. And we also use it for the sustainability check of the top 100, but that's only for 15 core criteria for first year and 30 core criteria for second year applicants. So this recognition of the GSTC, how does that work? Maybe you heard about the Global Sustainable Tourism Council that has developed standards for sustainable tourism in 2 different ways, actually, for industry. So that's for tour operators and for hotels and for destinations. So the GSTC has issued their second version of their destination standard in 2020, version 2. And we have in 2021 achieved also a recognition for that version 2 of the standard. It means that the standard is aligned with the different criteria of the GSTC standard. And you see here just a technical display of how the alignment works. Different themes on our standard apply to different themes in the GSTC standard. Here you see an overview of the core criteria of the Green Destination Standard. So 15 criteria you have to report on for first year applicants and 15 more criteria for second year applicants. I'm not going to read them out, and because that will be part of the training and explanations in the rest of your top 100 journey, but it covers all the themes. So from environmental, nature, social, cultural, business development, etc. We selected the criteria that were most concrete, that were most readily applicable. And we call that the core criteria because we think that most concrete criteria are the most important. Like, do you have a policy for solid waste reduction? Do you protect tangible cultural heritage? And go a little bit less deep into more strategy and legal compliance and those kind of also important criteria. But for the core criteria, we focused on these concrete criteria. So with the 30 criteria, so for second year applicants, there's almost half of them 75 criteria from the GD standard already covered. So after 2 years, destinations are quite prepared and ready to proceed for a certification or for a pre-certification award in the program of Green Destinations. So to conclude, I would like to welcome you again, everyone, to the 2023 Green Destinations Top 100 Stories, a truly global competition now to exchange experience and good practice in sustainable destination development, and a really good opportunity to get recognized for sustainability performance, achievements, and position your destination and communicate your sustainability efforts with a credible second or third party recognition of what you have achieved. So I leave the floor again to Valentina to explain more details on how this year the Green Destinations Top 100 Stories competition is set up and is structured.
Sure. Thank you, Ugo. Okay. We can, I think you're, okay, great. So yeah, as Ugo just said, so Green Destination is an annual competition which aims to collect good practice story on sustainable tourism from all over the world. And destinations who are applicable to apply for for the competition are the one listed here. So you have municipalities, protected area, islands and region, private destination, which anyway must include some tourism facilities on the premises, most preferably accommodations. And then, of course, with the competition, there is a fee coming with it. So the fee are either 600 euros or 300 euros. And this difference depends on where your destination is from. So either from high income economies need to pay 600 euros or 300 euros for low and middle income economies country. Then we do have option of fee. We provide the destination the option to participate for free through the fee waiver program. So this program is for destination from low and middle income countries which have restricted financial capacities, and they can apply for sponsorship, and so they can participate for free to the competition. This is just a visual overview of what just Ugo said. So the two steps, step one, sustainability check with all the difference depending on the year of participation of the destination, and then step two. So the good practice story. Destinations are required to score at least 60% in the sustainability check in order to be eligible to submit the good practice story. And Nicole later on will explain you a bit better what sustainability check is and the steps necessary to achieve over 60%. Here you can see a timeline of the top 100 competition. So the destination needs to register in order to participate, and registration are open until the 12th of April. After registering, you are required then to work on the sustainability check, and the deadline for the step one is the 1st of May. After the top 100 team inform you that you did pass step one, you're able to submit the good practice story, which is what we call step two. And so you need to write your good practice story. Then it will be evaluated by 2 top 100 evaluators, and then all the best one that make it to the top 100 list will be announced in October 2023. Automatically, all the stories that are part of the list are eligible to be chosen for the Green Destination Story Awards, and which is happening at ITB Berlin. The one for this year competition will be in March 2024. Anyway, next month, on the 7th of March, we are hosting the ceremony of the Green Destination Story Awards at ITB Berlin to award destination coming from the last year competition. So if you are curious to see who are the nominees and which kind of stories they submitted, please just go on our website on the event section, and you can find all the informations and stories there. As you can see on the top, on the bottom of the slide, with the registration to the competition comes some training. So all participants receive online training on the basis of sustainability reporting and storytelling, and how to communicate sustainability effort. Training are delivered through an online platform. It's called EdUp, and is very easy to use, intuitive and engaging. Then to assist you in writing the good practice story, we organized 2 master classes on storytelling hosted by tourism industry experts, and at the moment they are planned to be on the 23rd of May and the 14th of June. Anyway, these dates needs to be confirmed, and you will receive a notification with the exact dates soon. Then we do provide also a special support to interested destination that consists in supervision and coaching throughout the duration of the whole competition. So if you like to go for this kind of support, which is it has an extra fee, just to make you aware, you will be guided through your submission and given feedback as well on your good practice story drafting. So now we can go in more details to step 1. So I leave the screen to Nicole.
Thank you, Valentina. Let me share my screen. Oh, sorry, just go. Yeah. See. Yeah. So nice to meet you all. First of all, as Valentina said, I'm the top 100 Secretariat Coordinator for this year's edition. And I will explain a little bit more in detail on step 1, also referred to as the sustainability check. Yeah, to repeat a little bit, in here you are required to self-report on the basics of sustainability performance, which are the core 15 and 30 criteria. So the most important criteria from the Green Destination Standard that we are using, recognized by the GSTC, which is the Global Sustainable Tourism Council. Then, yeah, just for you to have an impression on what to report on again, here you see again the 15 core criteria. I'm not going to go into detail, but these were selected from our Green Destination Standard. And as Hugo said, these are all criteria from the 6 different teams that we are using. And they give you a good impression to get a feel with the topics that we address. Yeah, so these are all the criteria for the first year participant to submit. When you are a second year, you are requested to update this submission on these criteria, but also do an extra 15 criteria. So a total of 30 criteria. So this is the next year when you made some progress and get more familiar, more confident with the topics and your reporting skills. And you're probably wondering, how do I need to report on this criteria? What does it look like? So as I've mentioned, you need to self-report on these criteria. Therefore, upon registration, you will be given access to our assessment and reporting platform, which looks like this. This is what the interface looks like. If you click into the 15 criteria report or 30 criteria report, whichever you are required to report on, this gives you an overview. As you can see, well, here you can click into each criteria, of course, and this is just to give you an impression, so you've seen it at least once and know what to expect. Yeah, maybe briefly explain some important elements. As you can see here, you can click into each criteria, and then you have a few tabs on the top. It can be very handy. So the first tab is, of course, the reporting, which is pretty self-explanatory. And then I wanted to point to the second tab, which is the guidance. I think that's quite essential for each of the criteria, which will explain the criteria, why is it important and what is required to report on. This is very much the learning or the main purpose that you want to learn from step 1. So this is really where the benefit is for you to really understand and to be guided through all these criteria. So that's an important tab. And then another tab that I want to mention there is you could take advantage of the best practices. So this is the second to last tab. this is where we show a good example from another destination. So this is a real example with destinations that we work with. And it is a nice way for you to understand how other destinations complete the reporting and have some inspiration on how to do this for yourself. Yeah. So that's that. So this was a brief introduction, but to fully understand what you need to do on the assessment and reporting platform, you will be given access to the Top 100 training, which is provided by EDAP. You may access this training on your browser, but you can also download EDAP on your mobile phone, actually, or tablet. So once you register and pay your applicable fee, you will be given access to this training. So again, this is a screenshot of what the interface looks like. It looks a little bit similar as our training platform, as our reporting platform. This is a training platform. Yeah, so in the training, there's a very useful section that I want to highlight and recommend for you to, to go through before you do anything on the platform. That's on the bottom, lesson 5, compliance and assessment. Yeah, in this navigation guide, this will help you to go through all the necessary information to navigate the platform. It explains very well in detail how everything works, all the technical stuff on the platform. And it is especially designed to really do it in your own pace, and it just takes a few minutes. So yeah, if you have access to the training, please go through this. And then, yeah, then how to report on the criteria. So what do you need to fill in on the platform? So there's one question that we were frequently asked in the past. So I thought it would be useful to include here. So are all the criteria compulsory? Yeah, what if there are not applicable ones for the specific destination? So all first year, sorry, all first year participants need to report on 15 criteria, and second year on 30 criteria, as I just said. But yes, they are all compulsory. You must self-report on all of them. If a criterion is non-applicable for your destination, you need to self-report on it, and you need to explain at least clearly why it is not applicable in the self-reporting box for this criterion. So once you've done that, then our evaluators will review that. And there is an element of, if they agree with you, if it's non-applicable, then this criteria will not be taken into account. You'll be then graded, for example, for 14 criteria and not 15. Yeah, but if, on the other hand, the evaluator does not agree and think that the criteria is applicable, they will still grade your self-reporting on this criterion. The grade will then count towards the final percentage of compliance. So that's yeah, something to keep in mind. Then a few more bullet points that I wanted to highlight. Yeah, make sure that you have included supporting evidence for every criterion. Supporting evidence should be linked to the criterion it refers to. You can also go through the guide in lesson 5, compliance and assessment, that I just mentioned on a Top 100 training platform to learn how to do that. Then I wanted to stretch this because this, I guess this happens quite often. For long documents, you should refer to the page number where the evidence is. As you can imagine, that will save us a lot of time. Yes. And then a last bullet point for the reporting. yeah, submit your reporting in English. As you can imagine, it's quite challenging to organize a global competition like this. And our organization works in English. So yeah, I understand that some of you might not be so proficient in English, but we do ask that the reporting is done in English unless it's specifically asked otherwise. What you can do is, what I recommend, feel free to write in your own language and then use a translating tool such as DeepL. This translates quite efficiently and I think accurate as well. It will help you if you're more comfortable in the reporting in your own language. So that's also a possibility. Then, however, for documents that are not in English, you need to provide a brief overview of what the document says in the self-reporting boxes. So that's it on the reporting. So once you're done filling in the platform, all the information, you're done with that, you need to click the submit button at the bottom of your reporting overview. This looks like the button here in the presentation. So yeah, click on that, and after submitting your reporting, it will be locked for editing. So please be mindful of that as well. But at that point, we receive a notification that reporting is completed for the destination. So we will confirm that via email. Yeah, so please, yeah, do that before the 1st of May deadline. Then, yeah, finally, so how will you be evaluated? So you've submitted your sustainability check to us before the 1st of May, and then it's up to us to evaluate your reporting. We first start with technical check, which is basically a pre-assessment of all the reporting that has been done. We check if all the links are working, all the documents are well explained and relevant and available and so on. Then 12th of May, you will receive the technical feedback from us, and you will be given 1 week until the 13th of May to update the reporting according to this feedback. So you're given the chance to repair some issues if that is needed. Then the results. Then, yeah, we are ready to do the more extensive evaluation of all the criteria. 2 trained evaluators grade the criteria individually with marks from 0 to 5. And the average of the 2 evaluators gives the final score. So it is then also reviewed by the top 100 committee, which is composed by experienced representatives in our network. And then lastly, you will hear from us if you reach the 60% compliance on the criteria you have been evaluated on. But the destination scorecards, other than previous years, with the details, will only become available at the end of the competition. So if you've reached 60%, then you are admitted to step 2 of the competition. And yeah, you will receive a good practice story format document and the instructions to start working on your good practice story. Yes. Yeah, and then lastly, I wanted to remind you that in order to get evaluated, please pay the fee on the payment platform if applicable, if you're applicable to pay a fee, or you can request an invoice from us. That's also another way to do it. Yeah, because unfortunately we can't do the evaluations before we received a payment. And then yeah, I also wanted to highlight if you have any questions related to the sustainability check that you can't find in the instruction pack that you've received on your confirmation email, or is not answered in the top 100 training, or not answered anywhere else will be available in the Secretariat at top100@greendestinations.org. To help with anything that you need. I think that's all on step 1 for now. Are there any questions at this point? Please feel free to share them in the chat or just unmute your mic. And, we will try to answer the questions.
I think you've been able to explain it very extensively, both Valentina and Nicole. So good to see that there's at this point not much questions. Questions can be general, questions can be specific. Feel free to speak up. After we stop the recording, we can also speak a little bit more about any ideas that you have on your specific possible sustainability story. If you prefer that that's not recorded, we can stop the recording and keep on speaking after that. But I see Melanie has raised a hand, so please open your microphone and go ahead, Melanie.
Hi, good morning. I just wanted to double check. So Carinambo just received our certification for good travel seal.
Okay.
And we had to submit a lot of documentation for that. Do I understand this is another process of document presentation?
Yes, although I think it can replicate quite some documentation. The thing is that this is a destination sustainability story competition where destinations are submitting. Sometimes there's some overlap between destinations and businesses because the good travel seal that you're referring to is business certification. I am not so directly aware, but I need to check with colleagues whether there's been similar situations of businesses that have submitted to to the good travel, to the top 100 story competition. One of the requirements is to collaborate with like some kind of destination entity, whether it's a DMO.
Yeah, well, we were selected. We were selected by the Guyana Tourism Authority for the 100 stories.
Yeah.
So I was just I just got a little confused if we had to resubmit all the information again, or if GTA would be submitting that information on behalf of Guyana.
Ah, right. Guyana.
So it might
Yeah,
be the latter.
yeah, probably. Yeah. Maybe can you send an email? Then I will forward it to Albert. He's more involved in the Guyana project. We have an ongoing collaboration.
And I will also, I'll also check with our local representative too. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Just send a brief email and we circulate it, and we get your answer as soon as possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? It's a small group, so I propose that that we close the recording, and then after recording, feel free to open your microphone and discuss anything. And so Valentina, maybe you can just officially close the meeting.
Sure. Because I was going to briefly explain step 2.
Sorry. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Shall I?
Please go ahead with your step 2. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had many meetings today, so please go ahead.
That's okay. So can you see the screen and hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. So after the sustainability check, then, as we mentioned before, you are required to submit, to write and submit a good practice story. So for whoever is not familiar with this step, a good practice story is basically recounting about a solution that the destination has implemented in response to difficulties or challenges that they faced, or about a winning project that helped the destination in solving the issue and improve the management in general of the destination itself. And in this step, you will be required to provide some technical information, facts, and success and failures, because we all know it's not a linear path that we usually follow while implementing solutions. And you're required to use storytelling in order to tell us what you did implement in the destination. And so as part of the training that we provide, you find some little lessons on, let's call them previous master classes that we delivered last year, and as well as some training on what makes a good practice story, how to identify it, and how to write a good story. So this is all in the training platform that Nicole showed before. And so this solution that you found and will be telling us in your good practice story must relate to one of the categories that you find on the screen. So I'm just going to read the title, and then you will receive the description also in your instruction package that you receive upon registration. So the categories are destination management solution, nature and scenery, environment and climate, culture and tradition, thriving communities, and business and marketing. Just to make you aware, these categories are updated every year, and so to mirror the current global situation in the tourism industry and the challenges that they are facing, that the tourism industry is facing. Then, of course, your good practice story is evaluated and graded by 2 evaluators against these criteria, which actually you can keep them in mind while deciding the project that you like to tell us about. So first criterion is the completeness of the documentation. So the evaluator will check that you did answer to all the sections of the template that we will provide you. And you did provide also sufficient information and explanation on, on how you did implement the good practice story, as well as qualitative and quantitative data. Then you will be graded against the level of innovation that your good practice story shows, and to which extent then you did find a solution a bit out of the box, out of the ordinary. How did you think out of the box? And if the solution that you implemented was already existing, then you will be graded against how you did adapt this solution to the particular circumstances of your destinations. Then the third criterion is effectiveness. So how the benefits and beneficiaries are well identified, if the solution that you found is a long-lasting solution which encourages change in a sustainable way, and then if the outcome of your solution can be measured. And then we have transferability of innovation, which is basically to which extent your solution is could be implemented in other destinations which are facing the same issue, and if you are cooperating with within the tourism network. So if you're sharing knowledge. And then as a last criterion, we have sustainability pillars. So it's basically to which extent your good practice story touches each one of them. So as I said, to assist you in drafting the good practice story, you will be provided this template, and that we can see here in a bit more details. So the first page is just like a presentation page where you need to decide the title of your story. And we suggest to don't include the name of your destination in the title, because anyway, it's just underneath on the second line. And maybe try to think about a catchy title that can mirror the nature of your story and invite people to read it. Then, as I said, you will have to write the destination name, which should be the official name of your destination, the one that you registered with, and the people can use to find you, like on a online research, for example. Then you will have to state the country and who is submitting the story, the position, and of course the category of the story. You need to pick one of the category and telling us for which category you are competing. And then this year we added the story in a picture, so you are requested to insert one picture that portrays your good practice story. So it's going to be more like it gives an idea, already a visual idea to the reader once they start reading your good practice story, and then a short summary as well. Then on the template, like we go on the main body of the template, which is, so we start with destination description. This place is to provide a brief background of your destination to readers and evaluator, which might be not familiar with your destination. So it will help understand them better, the challenges that you are describing. Issue faced is where you need to explain in detail which issues and challenges the destination faced. Then we have methods, steps, and tools applied. So in here you need to outline step by step what actually solution you implemented and how did you do it, and preferably in a chronological order and with clear and concise information. Then we have key success factor, is where basically you explain what helped you in solving the story, and you mentioned the relevant stakeholder and whatever made your project possible. And then lesson learned, where you will describe the challenges that you faced while implementing the solution and how you solved them. Then this section is about results, achievement, and recognition. So in here you will outline all the direct and indirect results that you, results from your good practice, from implementing your solution, including qualitative and quantitative data. And then you're required to upload 2 pictures in View the Story. And then to finish, there's some additional reference section where you can provide us with the reader and the evaluator with any link to document or videos that might be helpful to understand the story better. So just some more information, just for you to know, the good practice story that you are telling us about can be an ongoing project. It doesn't have to be finished, not at all. And as well, if the project just started, for example, it did happen in the past, and so you don't have much data available, you can just recount what you have and then provide some forecasts, of course, based on backed up from some documents, but that's completely fine for the submission of the good practice story. Then if you already participated in the competition and your story was selected in a previous top 100 list, you're still able to submit the same story if you are willing to do so. Just the important thing here is to understand that it must show us significant improvements and new results. Updated and new results, because we will check that it's not the same story, because of course we cannot have the same exact story in the 2 different editions. Then if this happened in the past and destination wanted to submit more than one story, so we create this rule that a destination can submit up to 3 stories. But anyway, if you submit only one and you want to focus your energy only in one story, that's completely fine. It's actually more than fine. Your story has to be in English because is aimed to a worldwide audience. So English is the language of the good practice story. And then you will have to submit 5 copyright-free images that we're going to use for promotional material. And finally, the format that you need to submit the story to is a Word. And the good practice story is just submitted by email to the email address that you can see on the screen. And just one little reminder for all of you, the good practice story will be published on our websites. So please, all the information that you provide, the link to documents must be publicly available already, because they will become public once you submit the story. So just keep this in mind. And then if you're looking for inspiration on our website, you can find all the 2022 top 100 selected stories. And then if you go on the event section, as I said at the beginning, you'll find the Green Destination Story Award page. And in there you can find all the nominees' good practice stories. And then we also there's also going to be available good practice stories from 2020 and 2021 edition, and in the next few days on the website again, and it will be under news and media section. So thank you all, and please feel free to ask anything that wasn't unclear or you need some clarification on. Melanie, I don't know if your hand is raised since before, or is a new question?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify, is there a maximum period over which your story can capture? Like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 2 years? What is, if I have a story to tell that is 30 years old, that is over a 30-year period?
If it's still relevant as of today, I would say it's possible. In essence, my first idea was actually, we're looking for something innovative, something new, something that's has some news value also. But the baseline of the competition is to share good practice as an inspiration. So if you have been, if you're interested in demonstrating some long-term project that that now is a good moment to tell something about it, I don't think there's a problem in submitting that. But it's,
thank you. I understand it. It has to still be making impact at this time.
I would say yes, to make it really interesting for readers and to say, okay, this is still valid today. Is it something that has been in like ended 20 years ago in a different economic, environmental situation? Then it's not relevant anymore.
I just wanted to make sure that in the storytelling of what's happening today, I can go all the way back to the beginning of the story, which is 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, it's always good to start a little introduction, setting a little bit the background of the story, where you try to be concise in a few lines, what is what is the background. So definitely pay some attention to that. It's also important for the reader, so the reader can see what's the context. So yeah, in that sense, it would be good to mention that.
Thank you.
And then
Hi to everyone. I have one question. We can have up to 3 stories. Must they be in just one criteria, or we can mix criteria?
the categories, I think, right? Yeah.
Yes, categories. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, no, you can submit the stories in any category you like. They don't have to be all of them in the same category. Just keep in mind that only one story, regardless if a destination submit 1 or 3 stories, only one can make it to the top 100 list. So if your destination submit 3 stories, only one can be selected in the top 100 list.
Yes, I understand that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I see the categories again, please, briefly?
To list the categories again, yeah. Well, you do have in the instruction pack with all the explanations. So if you want to read them at your own pace, and they're also in the training platform. But anyway, they are destination management solution, nature and sceneries, environment and climate, culture and tradition, thriving communities, and business and marketing. And also, just to let you know, these are the categories of the Green Destination Story Awards also. So if you go on our website, you can find them there as well.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So if there is no other question, maybe we can, I can stop the recording and see if we can have a chat maybe on your ideas and